Hey, hey, football beer. That's why we're here, fans. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the show. He's Dave. I'm Chuck, one of these ways. And we do this little football show every week, every Wednesday, 7 o'clock. And until we get a million viewers, then we might like step it up and maybe do twice a week or something like that. What do you think, Dave? Good evening. Oh, can't hear you.
We're gonna hit that million viewer mark any episode now. I can just feel it. It's coming.
I I think so. And we've we've actually taken a step towards that. So tonight we are. So we've normally been on Facebook and YouTube every week. We've done Twitter. I might go back to Twitter, but now tonight for the first time we're actually on Rumble. So if you're watching the show on Rumble, welcome to the show. And yeah, it's good to have everyone here, and it's going to be a great show. We talk a little, yeah, we just talk NFL. That's what we do, and we drink beer. Speaking of, we wouldn't be football beer with, and that's why we're here without our beer of the week selections. And you were pretty proud of yours, so why don't you go ahead and tell me what you have on tap tonight, Dave?
Yeah, man. I got this Huss Brewing out of Tempe, Arizona. Their Oktoberfest. We are in October, so I'm going to be trying to do, Octobery, whatever I can find, Oktoberfestish or Halloween themes, some fright filled beers. But this is a Bavarian Marzen. It was the Silver Award winner actually in 2019 at the Great American Beer Festival. It's a 5.5 ABV, so let's see if I can try to get it in. My background's messing up. Here we go. Oktoberfest, Huss Brewing. But yeah, pretty good. I like these Marzens most of the time when I grab the fall beers, the Octobery beers. Marzens are definitely ones that I kind of go for, that caramely, kind of redder, colored beer. Pretty good so far. I've had 2 sips and I like it.
That's awesome. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining the show. Always, it's not a show without you here, Kim. So, so yeah, and as we get into the picks, Dave's got a little bit of surprise. I sucked this week. So anyway, and everybody else I think in the world did better than I did this week with my picks, even our fans. So, yeah, good to see you, Kim. And oh man, I must have low Wi-Fi going. I keep getting these pop-ups on my screens. Anywho, here we are. And it looks like we were disconnected to Rumble. Yay! I'll look into that. Anyway, we're still here on Facebook and YouTube. So tonight I was actually looking for a Oktoberfest or a Halloween beer. I did a Halloween beer last week, but in the seasonal beer section, came across an anniversary version of the first dark porter, or first porter that I really ever had, and is when we were living in the Portland area, Leela and I, and Deschutes Brewing had the Black Butte Porter, but this is actually Black Butte Porter. You can see the numbers in the bottom, 35. So they put out an anniversary beer. This is the 35th anniversary, and to celebrate our 35th anniversary, we sought inspiration from a rich, bold German Black Forest cake. Black Butte Porter lays the framework for a perfect fusion of flavors with notes of cocoa, tart cherries, and vanilla. Savor a special occasion like watching football beer. That's why we're here. It says it right there on the label. And but it's really of course I love my porters and stouts. But I'm going to tell you, this is a one and done beer because it is. I was showing you earlier. It is 11% ABV, and on the box on the carrier it says it'll be between 10 and 14%. So they actually print this on as they're printing the label what the ABV for the batch is. So yeah, cheers, 11%, and this will be the only if you see me open another one, the show I may never end the show. So let me take a sip. All right. Oh, that's it's got that. It does have that classic Black Butte Porter taste, but I can get I'm getting definitely some of the cherry notes in there, and yeah, that's a good beer. It's a nice sipping beer. It's like having a glass of port or something. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of football. and the other side to our show. So, gosh, where do we start? Let's talk. Let's recap a little bit last week and talk about kind of our offensive, defensive player of the game, game of the week, coaching hot seat, on all that other kind of stuff. Before we get into that, was there anything that stood out to you last week that isn't on your list? But anything that just like what that was cool or not cool or yeah, anything stand out?
Well, I thought my 49ers absolutely destroying Dallas was pretty cool. It's been fun to listen to sports talk radio this week since Sunday, and even banter going back and forth about linebacker Micah Parsons after he was getting ridiculed after the game, kind of brushing it off and it's just one game and blah blah blah. And then Debo Samuel from the 49ers coming back to be like, no, we whipped your ass. Like you can say whatever you want. Like we kicked your guys' ass. Um, and Jerry Jones even came out and said after the game, this was going to be a game that showed kind of where we were at and what level we were at, and it looks like we got a lot more work to do because we definitely weren't at the level of San Francisco on Sunday. So yeah, I mean, what else you're supposed to tell yourself though when you're a great player and you didn't have a very good game? I mean, I don't blame Micah Parsons for kind of going that direction because what are you going to do? It's over. You can't sit and cry about it, right? So he's got to move forward. I'm sure he'll have much better games than he did. But yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome to watch my team destroy Dallas because I do not like the Dallas Cowboys. I never have. I've liked about two players on their team ever, and that's about it. So that was very cool to watch that.
Very good. Yeah, it's yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the watching the 49er Cowboy game. Actually, that was my game of the week, and just it was a nice butt whooping. Anytime I can see the Cowboys go down in fantastic fashion like that, I'm all for it. Obviously, I enjoyed it when my hometown Cardinals here beat them a couple of weeks ago. So, their last win, their only win. So, you know, it's against the Cowboys. So, um, yeah. So, just to kind of move into that, what was your game of the week?
My game of the week was that Falcons Texans game. I mean, it's two teams that you're not expecting a whole lot from this season. But they played a really good game. And to watch that rookie CJ Stroud start of his season, he's playing lights out. He set a record for most passes by a rookie with the consecutive starts with no interceptions yet. So he's not turning the ball over. He actually led his team back at the end of the game to take the lead. So the loss, isn't entirely definitely on him. He played a great game, had a game-winning drive at the end, but then the Falcons were able to come down and kick a field goal as time expired, to win the game. So, really good game. Was both of these teams, it's a win that they could have had, that they needed. The Falcons ended up getting it, but still, I think it's going to be really hard moving forward for me to pick any big amount of spreads against the Texans. There's one of those teams that I don't think they might not win a lot of games this year, but they're going to lose by like one score. They're going to lose a lot of close games, I think, if they don't start winning them. So they're kind of a team I'm looking for in the future, kind of on the rise with this CJ Stroud. If they could get some more talent around him, I think the Texans might be a team kind of on the upswing from where they've been the last few seasons. Good pick with CJ Stroud.
Yeah. And he seems to definitely be, you know, fitting in well and getting better each week. Um, who was your offensive player of the week?
Yeah, offensive player of the week. This was tough, and it was tough last week too. There's so many guys having like huge days. I mean, the last few weeks there's been at least one or four guys that have just like exploded statistically. But I'm going with DJ Moore, wide receiver of the Bears. He had 230 yards receiving and three touchdowns in that big win they had Thursday night, and also he helped me absolutely dominate in one of my two fantasy leagues. So that's always going to be a helpful thing for a guy to get my offensive player of the week. So DJ Moore was mine this week.
Yeah, I was looking. I had this. I honestly, I had the same people that you had tonight, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I went through the games and looking at the stats, and really, there wasn't other than the Bears' offense this week. There wasn't a lot that just like, oh my gosh, just crushed. This one person just crushed it. But so I picked someone that just struggled. He was booted by the Rams, sent over to the Lions. I actually picked Jared Goff. I'm not a fan of Jared Goff, but he had 3 touchdowns this week, and even a rushing touchdown. And I just think that he's starting to release the ball a lot faster. That to me, that was my criticism of his when he was in L.A. Is just that his reads were slow, his release was slow, and he just and then he was underthrowing. So he looks like a different player now. Obviously, he's being whether it be the QB coach or whoever, someone's coaching him and and working around getting him to read and release that ball out fast because he actually looks a lot better than he ever did in LA. So yeah, so Jared Goff for me, and again, didn't have a fantastic stat line. I think it was only like 236 or 263 yards passing on the day, but he had 3 touchdowns. Honestly, I like Montgomery this week also, and but not massive stat lines. He had over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown, but he had some tough runs in that game, and that really impressed me. And so, but yeah, so yeah, Jared Goff for defense, and it's not that I'm a fanboy of Detroit or anything. This guy didn't have an amazing stat line. He had three tackles, had a sack, but he also had an interception that was just unreal. Um, QB sidearms it. I mean, just kind of comes out, sidearms it, and Aiden just sticks his hand out sideways, shreds his block, sticks his hand out sideways, and intercepts the ball and runs it back. And it's just this is just an impressive play. I think that's what did it for me for defensive player. Other than that, like I said, wasn't a huge stat line. It was just that he's been impressive all year, and he's really making a name. He's right now, at least this year, one of the elite defensive ends, and in some of those, with some of the other elite players. So yeah, for me it was Aiden Hutchinson. What about we kind of did our games. So let's get into our kind of our last category here, our coaching hot seat. And who is in your coaching hot seat this week?
Oh man, this week it's got to be Sean Payton. So Sean Payton of the Broncos. I mean, he talked a lot of smack, um, publicly against the assistant coach from the Jets, the offensive coordinator that used to be the head coach of the Broncos, who got let go basically so Sean could come in and be the head coach. And guess who Sean got beat by this week? The offensive coordinator of the Broncos, or of the Jets. So he came in with Zach Wilson and beat the Broncos. And you could see Russell Wilson coming off the field a couple times and Sean, being unhappy with him and Russell just kind of looking the other way. And like I've been saying kind of all year on the show, Denver is hot garbage. That whole team should be basically exploded. You're going to have to eat money, Denver. Sorry. It's not a good fit. It's not a good look. Coach, quarterback, you might as well just eat the money, get rid of them both, start over like Texas is doing, like Carolina is doing. You need a fresh start, fresh blood. You got old blood in there right now. You got an old ball coach who won one championship. You got a quarterback in there, that's won one championship. So they think they're somebody, and guess what? Right now they are nobody, and everyone would love to play the Broncos right now. And you're paying a lot of money for losses right now if you're the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
So Sean Payton for sure, my hot seat coach.
Yeah, it's so obvious. It's just beyond obvious. Would Sean Payton do better with different talent? Did he just walk into the wrong environment? Is he not able to coach up? a struggling team like that. I mean, he's done it um, in New Orleans, but I don't know. It must be a totally different environment. I don't know if his hands are cuffed or tied, in the way he coaches certain people. But um, Russell Wilson. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Uh, but this week, this coach hasn't been in the hot seat before. Oh, and I never put your guy up. There we go. Make it official. All right. So for me, though, uh, I chose this guy simply because he got his ass whooped by the Chicago Bears. That's it. That's the only reason that, you had another dumpster fire in Chicago and you have been playing half decent football this year, and you got spanked. And no other reason. I'm not going to say anything, bad about Ron Rivera. He's been in the league a long time. Maybe, but he's been doing well. I can say some of these older coaches maybe just aren't adapting to the game. Like last week, Bill Belichick. Maybe they've been in the league too long, and their style of football just isn't going to work in this new environment. Or not that it's new environment, it's changing or adapting or whatever it may be. But yeah, so I picked Ron Rivera simply because he lost to the Chicago Bears in ugly fashion, and so yeah. But yeah, it was a good week of football. Gotta admit, I did not watch the Monday night game. Couldn't care less about the Monday night game, and we went out and did other things that were a lot more fun. But anyway, we still have a fantastic. There's some really good games this week. That and I think kind of that the first one, if we can just kind of go into our picks here. Let me get out of this view. We're not on a hot seat anymore. Uh, our first pick of the week could actually lend a little bit more to your coaching hot seat because tomorrow night we have the Broncos visiting the Chiefs, Kansas City. The Chiefs are favored by 10.5 at home, and I'll go first on this. I would have taken this at 14, and this I'd put money on 14 points here. Broncos are absolutely dysfunctional. No sign of you know anything positive coming out of that program right now. And I'm not, you can't sit here and say, oh, they're going to turn it around against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been playing really good football. I don't know how, but they are. And so I'm going to take the Chiefs at home by 10.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs too easy at home, and I hope they win by 20.
Would you take the bet at 20? Would you take the line at 20?
I would take it at 14 like you would. I'd take 14. I don't know if I'd take 20, but
Yeah.
I'd take 14.
Yeah, 20 is tough because at that point you know, you could end up in the fourth quarter with scrubs and bonus time, people scoring on accident, kind of thing, and making the game closer. But yeah, so Kim had what did Kim have? I put that up there. She had the Chiefs, and all right. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. We haven't used this screen before, so we can. This will make it easier to keep track of who people are picking as we go along. All right. So let's go on down the next game. So now we're done with Thursday, Sunday. First game up: the Ravens and the Titans. Two struggling teams, if you ask me. More so probably with the Titans, but the Ravens are actually favored by 4 on the road. There's a point there that's kind of uh, questionable. I mean, that one extra point, I think, on the road with a struggling team all the same. But who do you got here?
Man, this is a tough one because, yeah, the Titans definitely don't look good. I thought the Titans would score some more points than they have this year after they picked up Hopkins and they have Henry, but Derrick Henry really hasn't done much. He's been getting stifled a lot so far this year. You can never really bet on Tannehill. I know he's one of your favorite quarterbacks in the league. But then again, the Ravens, I mean, they were looking pretty good, and then they just couldn't score any points. Lamar had a bad pick in the end zone when they're in the red zone trying to throw a really bad fade pass to Beckham. But yeah, I would say Oh gosh, I really want to take the Ravens. I just think I just think Lamar Jackson can get like do so much more than Tannehill can. So even if his guys aren't clicking, he can make things happen where Tannehill can't. So I'm going to take the Ravens just based upon that at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Baltimore. I don't know if they're just trying to keep Lamar healthy. He's not. He's not. They're not really running the offense through him like they normally do, trying to make him more of a pocket quarterback. He's not taking the runs. I mean, that's a signature part of his game, and it's been fewer runs this year already. So that concerns me. But again, the Titans are just struggling. Not a Tannehill fan. Taking the Titans on the road by 4. That was probably more of an emotional pick there, but
You're taking the
this could be a three
Titans
point.
at home, or are you
No,
taking the
gosh, no,
Ravens?
no. I'm taking the Ravens.
All right,
I'm taking the Ravens.
right.
Kim is taking the Ravens as well. Hey, I actually got ahead of myself. I'm going to back up a little bit here because we did have some picks from last week, and I kind of skipped over that here. Um, and I probably wanted to skip over this simply because you beat me this week. You got your first week win, and but you were 9-5, and I went 7-9. So that does not add up correctly.
I was gonna say
And I
that's a
you
weird.
you went 9-7.
Yeah,
Sorry,
9-7.
I
That's like I'll
put
take
in.
5.
That's why my math wasn't adding up on other games down below. I was like,
Oh, okay.
this is what. That's not, so no, I did not have a first pre beer. So yeah, so you had 9 wins, I had 7. So I went 7-9, you went 9-7. So basically, I have 2 wins, or I've won 2 weeks. You've won 1 week, and we've tied for 2 weeks, and with our picks at 13-3 and 8-8. Let's go back to some of those 13-3 weeks, right? Um, so I gotta pull it together. I'm still holding on to a 1 game lead over the season. I have 45 wins to your 44. So I really need to buckle up and do better in my picks. I gotta keep my lead going. All right, so we got the Ravens. All right, so next game up, 49ers going to Cleveland to play the Browns, favored by 5.5. And I think this is a pretty favorable spread for the San Francisco 49ers. I have no problem taking the 49ers 5.5 points on the road in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to take my team too. The Browns do have a pretty decent off or defense. I just don't see them being able to really score on us very well. So uh, I can see us easily winning by 2 field goals. Even if it turns into a low scoring game, I can see us getting that 6.
Yeah, and Kim's also got the 49ers. Yeah, I just think they're rocking and rolling. They're absolutely the best team in the NFL, and they're showing it week in, week out. How I mean, they're just running absolutely on all cylinders and a couple of extras because they just absolutely look solid. It's hard to find a real weakness in their game right now. So, alrighty, Commanders when the fired Ron Rivera. Uh, Hope not. Let's see. Okay, Commanders and Falcons. Falcons won their game at the end against the Texans. The Texans looked good in that game, but the Falcons are favored at home by 2.5. I'm taking. Oh, uh, it's your pick first, huh? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're up. Who you got here?
Falcons are 3-2. Commanders are 2-3. Commanders just lost to the Bears. The Falcons just won a close one at the end against a pretty decent Texans team. So I'm going to take the Falcons at home by the home field goal.
Yeah, I think Ron Rivera is going to be very embarrassed about what happened last week, and is going to be on his players. And when coaching, I know his coaching style. If if it's all going to depend on how the team's going to react, and I think they're going to react positively. I'm going to take the Commanders. and on the road. Kim is with me. She's taken Washington as well. So 2-1, I automatically win this game. So no need to even play it. All right, Vikings and the Bears. The Bears. Uh, hey, I'm back. You're back.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, I don't know what happened there, but all right. So I took the Bears at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears too at home. This is just a terrible year for the Vikings, and now Justin Jefferson is out. Um, you know, Cousins, he can throw for a lot of yards, but I mean, maybe the Bears, that big win over the Commanders, will get things rolling for them. I'm sure DJ Moore and Fields have a lot more confidence. The Vikings can't have a lot of confidence going into this game, really. They've had a hard season already so far. They've lost their best offensive player now. So for all those reasons, I'm gonna hope the Bears get their second win of
The
the season.
Bears. Yeah, Kim is with us with on that. So we're all on board with the Bears this week. We'll see which Bears team shows up, and yeah, and we're gonna see if Kirk Cousins can carry the team. I don't think he can, so we'll see. All right, Seahawks going on the road to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Bengals are actually favored at home by 3. The Bengals beat up on my Cardinals last week, and yeah, who you got here?
It's a tough one. The Bengals are playing better, but they're not playing good this year, and the Seahawks are actually playing pretty well this year. That's a pretty far trip. Seattle to Cincinnati, definitely home field for the Bengals, so they're getting that 3. Um, I don't know. I'm not that confident still in the Bengals. I took them last week. I was the only person to pick the Bengals in last week's game, and I got it right, but I wasn't that confident about it. I just lucked out that they finally played well, and Jamar Chase caught some good passes from Burrows. But I think I'm gonna have to take the Seahawks. They're solid. Geno Smith doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Their offense is going pretty good. The defense is playing all right. They're just kind of the sleeper team. I mean, they're 3-1 right now. They only lost one game so
Yeah,
far. Um,
yeah,
they're just. I think they're kind of under the radar just because they don't have a ton of stars that you're hearing about, especially at quarterback. But Gino played well last year. He's playing pretty decent this year. So I'm going to give it the Seahawks on this.
yeah. I'm with you on this. The Bengals were 1-3 before they went in and played the Cardinals last week, and the Cardinals actually were
Barely
somewhat
won.
in that game,
Yeah.
and and then they lost James Conner, and he's out for multiple weeks. So then things started to fall apart after that. They couldn't get a running game going, had to rely too much on the pass. Just, I mean, it just it wasn't really the second man up. Didn't see a lot of people taking over the game for the Cardinals to keep it close. So yeah, Bengals got that win, but still, I'm not that impressed. Seahawks again, kind of like you said, flying under the radar, and they're just being sneaky right now. And I'm gonna take the Seahawks on the road as well. Just because I don't know who the Bengals are right now, and the Seahawks are winning. So Seahawks on the road. Kim is also with us with the Seahawks. And good to see you on board with us, Kim, because that is the smart thing to do. All right, except that I think I'll take a pause here. You sent me some stats that I was not in favor of. That you know, um, oh, I know. I did not go 7-9. I went 7-7 because there's only 14 games. You went 9-5. I gotta go. I gotta. I messed up those numbers big time. I'm gonna have to go back and start over now. But anyway, your Jim actually went 8-6 this week with his picks. We're not going to do this every week. Dave isn't, but he thought he would throw everyone our loyal fans a bone this week. But yeah, Jim went 8-6. He beat me. And then Kim went 8-5, a game short because she didn't want to pick the San Francisco Dallas game. But she was, as you wrote down, the only one to get the Steeler game correct last week on the show. So yeah, good job, Kim. Everyone beat me last week. Congratulations, world. All right, back to our picks. Panthers, Dolphins. Panthers, Dolphins, Dolphins. This is the big spread of the week. And gosh, I mean, yeah, I have no problem taking the Dolphins at home, 13.5 against the Panthers right now. And they're kind of they're just clicking. And it did concern me last week because I had to pay a little bit more attention to Tua last week because I had to play him in fantasy. And he threw a couple of picks last week, and it was because of those picks that I think I lost the week against you in fantasy. Picked up my second loss of the season, and so he still got a lot of points, but he threw some picks in there that were taking him off the scoreboard for me, and that's kind of concerning. But all the same, Dolphins win the game, and he'll pull it in against the Panthers. And it'll be lights out, and taking the Panthers at home 13.5.
Dolphins at home, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins too. This Panthers just, I mean, Bryce Young hasn't really impressed me. The Panther offense, there's no way they're going to be able to keep up the scoring, I don't think, with the Dolphins. I mean, hopefully they double team Tyreek Hill all day long to give themselves somewhat of a chance. You saw last week, it only takes one play. I mean, they saw one play where Tyreek got one-on-one and he was 10 yards behind the cornerback and caught a long touchdown pass. It's like you can't. Like, if you're a defensive coordinator, just know every single play you have to have a guy over the top on Tyreek Hill, because if they see you don't, he's scoring an 80-yard touchdown. Like, as long as the ball's there, you can't beat I'm way faster than the other guy. If you can't keep up with him, you can't stop the play. Like, you'll never stop it. I mean, pretty soon these guys are going to have to start 15 to 20 yards off the line of scrimmage on him, because if you're within 7 to 10, he's running right by you, and you're getting smoked. So,
right.
Yeah, I got to take the Dolphins in this. I just can't see the Panthers scoring enough points to keep up.
Yeah, I think it was. We were watching. I was watching the game, or Dylan and I were, and it was the running back, a chain. I don't know how you say a chain, Devon Kane. They were saying we watched him run around the edge for a long 70-some yard touchdown, and they clocked. They do the speed and everything. Got sensors and the helmets and all that good stuff. And they said that he was on that run. He was officially the fastest ball rusher of the season at just over 21 miles an hour, somewhere over 21 miles an hour. And it wasn't many plays later that Tyreek Hill caught a ball. He didn't score a touchdown, but he had a super long, reception run, and he was over 22 miles an hour. So within plays, you had the two fastest people setting the record for the season as the fastest players. And then they were saying on the broadcast that of the seven fastest players the top seven fastest NFL players in the league are all Miami Dolphins. And So probably just building their kind of like the Oregon Ducks of the past. All about speed and you got to catch me because I'll tell you what, if you can get that, if you can get any of those runners past the second level, you're gaining tons of yards,
Yeah.
and because they're hard to catch. And they also, after 5 games, they actually broke the 2000 St. Louis Rams record of the most yards, most offensive yards through 5 games, and so took down another Kurt Warner record. He's got a lot of them, but yeah. So through the first 5 games, they now have the most offensive yards through 5 games in NFL history. So, yeah, and nice thing is they can get them in chunks, and it's always nice when you can get a 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 yard play, set you up.
I heard that a Tune running back is out this week too with some sort of injury. So they might be on their third running back, Miami, but I still don't think that's going to slow them down.
No, Mostert's a good running back, and he'll be fine. And he still had 60 yards last week, but so I'm taking the Dolphins. Did you already pick the
Yep.
Dolphins?
Dolphins, Kim's Dolphins.
Kim's Dolphins. She wants to let us know that she picked before us. So yeah, you're not a bandwagoner. I know. All right, Colts Jaguars. Here's a barn burner. I do have the running back for the Colts. So I don't know who goes first, but I'll take the Colts on the road. Ooh, Jags are 2-0 over the last 2 weeks, but
In
they
London.
played both those games in London and whooped up on the Bills last week in London. Um, wow,
Minshew
I
is
got to
also
slow down a little bit
starting.
because
Minshew is starting for the
and
Colts.
he
Richardson's out with the shoulder.
and he and he did not look bad.
No.
I'm not. Yeah, you know what? I said Colts. I'm going to take the Colts on the road to not lose by 4.5.
Yeah, Minshew could be the best backup in the league. He could probably start for 5 or 6 teams that just want to have these young quarterbacks and try to groom them to be, whatever. For whatever reason, I don't know why he's become a journeyman because he's a pretty good quarterback. When he gets the chance to play, he's a gamer. So, I mean, you can kind of go into every game with him and think, well, we have a chance. Like, we're not just going to fold. Like, he can make plays. So, this is a tough one. 4.5 is a lot on this game. I thought, and I think
It
that's
is.
probably just based upon how bad they beat the Bills. I think that's a lot of what that spread is, especially going. They know making the spread. There's a backup quarterback, so that's a little respect to Minshew, but I think it's more than a field goal just because of the way they beat up on the Bills. I think that it could be the opposite though. So where the Bills probably had some jet lag going back over and things like that. I think the Jaguars, after being over there for 2 weeks, now they have to come all the way back and play a game. Their systems could be off a little bit. For that reason, I don't know if the Colts are going to win this game, but I bet they can keep it within like a field goal. I bet at 3, so I'm going to go for the Colts also.
Yeah. Kim is also on board with the Colts, and yeah, so we are all on board with the Colts. All right, continue with our Sunday games. The Saints and the Texans. The Saints are going to Houston and to try and rough up the Texans there. And but yeah, who you got here?
This is a tough one. I mean, I don't even know what to think about the Saints 34-0 win against the Patriots. It's like because I didn't see the Saints is that good, but did the Patriots just suck that bad?
Yeah,
Um, I think they said
they
it was the
do.
second worst loss that Belichick's ever had
And the
while
week before
coaching.
was his worst.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
so
week before was his worst loss.
two back to back worsts for him. And the only reason I didn't put him on my hot seat is he can be there till he retires because he got them 4 championships. So he's just got that grandfathered in. He's never gonna get fired. He's never will be. Like he'll just have to know I can't do it anymore. I don't have what I had. The magic's gone. I need to stop doing this because I don't think he'll ever be fired. Just one of those things. But I think the Texans aren't bad, like I said earlier. So this is a real weird game, and I think why it's a 1.5. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna go. I read that Gladwell book Blink. It says to go with your first gut, instant instinct. It's usually going to serve you well. And for some reason, when I first looked at this, I was thinking Texans. So just because that was my first thought right when I saw this game, I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to stick with those young Texans at home to win this game.
Yeah, like I said earlier, CJ Stroud is starting to come into his own. I think they're starting to gel there. They play pretty good defense. Uh, I'm actually going to take the Texans at home here as well. I just think they keep improving, and Derek Carr just has to do way too much. Is he playing now? Yeah, he was back this week.
Yeah.
Um, I they've watching the Saints this last week, and watching Carr throw an interception, just like he's having to do way too much on his own,
Yeah.
and that's just he had much better players in Las Vegas and struggled. So, yeah, I'm taking the Texans at home. I just like kind of what they're doing there. They're not a good team. Neither one of these are good teams right now, but taking the Texans. So that means Kim's hanging out there on an island by herself. She took the Saints. And you sure you don't want to bandwagon and change your pick, Kim? Uh, that's why you beat me last week too. Probably, doing your own thing, going with what you know. All right, so talking about those the Bill Belichick Patriots that have had two horrible losses in a row. They're going to Las Vegas, Sin City, and to play the Raiders. Raiders are actually favored at home by 3. Uh, I wouldn't change your pick either, Kim. All right, so uh, Patriots Raiders. Uh, Patriots Raiders. You know, I just can't. Hang on, I got to look at something. What's I got to look at the Raiders. Uh, uh, I got to look at their record. 2-3 against a 1-4 team. Um, Gosh, this is a toss up. For me, either one of these teams could. Can I be like Kim and just not pick a game? Um, you know what? I'm gonna, I'm gonna, shit. I'm gonna take the Patriots. You know what? I'm gonna take the Patriots. Damn it. Um, just because I'm an idiot, I'm gonna take the Patriots.
Yep. You're an
Just
idiot. Um, yeah, there's no way I can take the Patriots after the last two games. And then I think they're putting in a new quarterback this week that's going to have to face Max Crosby at home, rushing at him. Also, I saw Belichick interviewed this weekend after the game, and it was classic Belichick. They said, "Well, you had your worst two losses ever in the history of your coaching career. What's going to have to change?" He goes, "We're going to have to start over." And he goes, "What?" The guy says, "Well, what does that mean? Like, what are you going to do to start over? What do you mean start over?" Uh, we got to start over. And that was it. That was his whole commentary, Bill Belichick. So always, giving all the media what they need and what they want. Um, but yeah, they have to start over. They have to start over everywhere. And if this continues, they're going to have to start over with a new coach, a new quarterback, a new everything in New England. Because that dynasty is dead. You have, I mean, even just not even, just this year, but last year, now this year, it's even louder and louder where it was like, was Belichick the genius, or did he just have great players? Because ever since all those guys left him, they've sucked. So what's changed? The personnel has changed. The coach hasn't changed. He has lost a lot of assistants. I'll say that. Assistant coaches are important. A lot of his assistants went on to be head coaches from those teams that he won with. But the new guys he's bringing in, the staff isn't the same as what he used to have that turned into head coaches. So the lineage stops somewhere because they look awful. I mean, they look way more than it's the coaching. Um, the players aren't getting it done. They look awful, and so for that reason, I mean, if it's only 3 at home for the Raiders, I'll take that 3 at home for the Raiders from what I've seen from the Patriots the last few weeks.
Yeah, Bill Belichick did say today that he is sticking with Mac Jones this week to start against the Raiders. Not
Now
that
I'm really
that's
picking the
that should
Raiders.
right.
He sucks.
Oh man, Mac looked horrible. He
He's
looked
awful.
horrible last week. Um, but Zap or Zappy or whatever, he doesn't look any better. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. Tide's got to turn at some point. It's Bill
Hey,
Belichick,
you could steal a
and
win.
I can steal a win, and it is the Raiders, so anything could happen. Kim is also taking the Raiders, so I am out on an island by myself with that one. All right, next game up is my Arizona Cardinals going on the road to play the Los Angeles Rams in a divisional game. Going to SoFi, and the Rams have been struggling. They've been looking all right, but they've been struggling, and they are favored by 6.5 at home. Who you got here?
Man, this is tough because the Cardinals' defense makes me think they can keep games within 7. They apply pressure. Stafford's not running anywhere. They did get Cooper Cup back. Um, he's going to see a lot of passes, but they have great safeties in Arizona. So with that safety Collins there, he's pretty good. They can get pressure on Stafford. I don't think the Rams are that great, and we've seen the Cardinals play well. They've been in games. They should have won. I mean, they were in that game till the end against the Bengals. They've smashed the Cowboys. So they're just, they're in. You kind of never know where they're going to be, but man, I want to say that defense can hold within 7. I'm going to take the Cardinals just based upon the amount of pressure that they can get on a quarterback. And I don't think the offensive line for the Rams is all that wonderful. They really try to get the ball out really quick to those receivers. Um, and he's going to have Aaron, yeah, I think the Cardinals defense can keep it. I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to win, but I think they can keep it under 7.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a very difficult decision here and do something I haven't done all year, and that's actually I'm going to go against the Cardinals for the first week this year, simply because James Conner is out multiple weeks. We don't have a running back, and uh, we don't have an elite running back. That means it's all on. I always say Dobb or Dobbins. I don't. Dobbs, right? And it's all on him. And that's where Aaron Donald and the defensive line for the Rams, they're going to be able to fill the gaps against the running backs we do have left. And I just probably see some too many turnovers on behalf of the Cardinals. I think the defense will play well. I just think that the Rams are going to get a lead, touchdown, 2 touchdown lead, and the Cardinals just aren't going to be able to put up the offense because they really slowed down after Connors went out this week, and I just didn't. They don't have Dobbs isn't going to win it for you. I mean, they're going to have it if they're going to have to come out with some amazing game plan this week to keep this game closer, win the game, and something that we haven't seen previously. So we'll see. Maybe it's a Dobbs and Hollywood Brown scenario, show that amazes me. But for the first time this season, I'm going to pick against my Cardinals and take the Rams at home by 6.5. And it's tough, but I got to do it. And I just think that I just think they're going to struggle with offense right now. And And who knows if we're ever going to get Kyler Murray back this season. Um, so, Kim is uh, also, she's also with you with the cards. Now I feel like I'm kind of out there. Once again, I'm on an island. But yeah, we'll see. I'm either going to have a big week against you or you're going to take the lead. All right, so Eagles going to visit the Jets in New York. Eagles are favored by 7 on the road. I just can't go against the Eagles right now. Got to take the Eagles on the road. Just clicking. Kind of like the 49ers. They're just clicking, doing what they got to do to win the games. And, yep, taking the Eagles on the road.
Oh yeah, I mean Zach Wilson might have beat Russell Wilson. I don't see Zach Wilson beating the Eagles. I don't see the Jets being able to stop the Eagles enough. Seven's pretty big just because the Jets do have a pretty decent defense. Um, so that the defense might keep them in it for a little while, but I just think there's going to be too many errors by Zach Wilson in this game. He's going to really kind of struggle with the Jets. So I'll take the Eagles also.
Yeah. All right, Lions, Bucks. I've kind of been a big fan of Dan Campbell and the Lions over the weeks, and this one is a tough one for me. But fortunately, you get to pick first.
Lions are looking really tough this year. St. Brown was out as a receiver last week, and that we thought, oh, would that slow the Lions down? And it really didn't. The other receivers stepped up. Montgomery stepped up. The defense is still solid. The Bucks did have a bye week last week, which kind of sucks. If I'm a team, I don't want the first bye week. I don't want a bye week in week 5. Now the Bucks are going to be exhausted by the end of the season. So that was kind of against them, especially when they have to come back and play a good Lions team. Right back from the bye doesn't help them much. It's only 3, so I'm going to take the Lions based on how they've been playing this year. The Bucks still, Mike Evans is questionable. He may not play. That's the best receiver the Bucks have. Him and Mayfield were really just starting to click, so that's a bummer for the Bucks. And so for that reason, I don't think they're going to be able to score with the Lions.
Yeah. I have to do what's smart here and take the Lions. I want to take the Bucks. I think the Bucks are still the better team. They both teams only have one loss this season, but you're right, they come off a bye, so the Bucks have played one less game, but still they both only have one loss this season, and but the Lions did lose the week before. Chris Godwin's still a good receiver. Who's the running back in Tampa? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take the Lions. I'll take the Lions. I think we're gonna lose this game, but I'm gonna take the Lions. All right. Moving along. Kim's got the Lions as well. So we're all on board with the Lions. So Sunday night, only a couple of games left. Sunday night, the hapless G-men are going to go into Buffalo. That's a long drive. And play the Bills. Actually, the Bills have the big spread of the week. I thought it was the Dolphins. But hey, we've got the Bills here favored by 14. The Bills got spanked in London by the Jags last week. I don't know what that was about. I think that's just the NFL being scripted. Hey, we want to move the Jaguars to London, and so we want London to be behind their new home team. So we're going to make sure that they win. So people think, oh my gosh, the Jaguars are awesome. Yeah, come on over. Please come on over. And then they go over when they move over there. Yeah, that just seemed a little bit too scripted for me. But, that's kind of the way the Bills have been playing. It's just up and down, all over the place. So 14 points is a lot, but I haven't seen the Giants be able to score. I'll go out on a limb. I'll take the Bills. Um, I'll take the Bills at home by 14. Ah, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills too. They're really good at home. They're one of those teams that really, their fans pump them up. They really, play really well at home. It is a short drive for the Giants. It's not like they have to go far for this game. So that's kind of nice for them. It's really hard for me to ever pick the Giants, though, watching Daniel Jones and watching that offense. And, um, they seem to be in it for a little while and then they just make mistakes. They let big plays on defense go. They turn the ball over on offense. They don't move the ball on offense. And I think Daniel Jones may have the worst quarterback face I've ever seen in my life. Like if you watch him, when they zoom in on him and he's at the line of scrimmage, like reading the defense before the snap, it's a terrible look for the guy. I feel really bad for him. I mean, he's basically become a meme now where I mean his face, he just looks confused and scared and his eyes are all bugged out and it's an awful face that he makes when he's back there at quarterback. I mean, just based upon that, I think if I was like a general manager, I'd be like, "Oh crap, I can't have this guy as the leader of my team. He's got that face on the whole game while he's out there. Like he looks terrified." Um, so yeah, I'm definitely picking the Bills, and it's just if you haven't seen it, if you get a chance to watch a Giants game, if they zoom in on him when he's at the line of scrimmage, check out what I'm talking about. It's not good. It's the guy looks scared to death back there, and it's or confused or both. It's not a good look.
Yeah, well, actually, I was just reading. It looks like he may not even play this weekend with the neck injury. He injured his neck in the game this last weekend, and
So might be good for them.
so it looks kind of probable that yeah, Tyrod Taylor might get the start this week for the G-men. So still doesn't change my pick
No.
either way. They just they just yeah. So Kim is also with the Bills at home. Big spread of the week. Buffalo Bills. Yeah. So all right, last game of the week. Monday night. This will be a good. This is going to be a good game. This is my game of the week. Cowboys Chargers. What a Wait a minute. Is that a typo? Hang on.
Nope.
What? Come on. That can't be real. That's stupid. What is it? Stupid. All right. So the Cowboys are both teams have 2 losses. And this is stupid. Who you got here? This is stupid. 2-point favorite on the road.
Oh, I really want the Chargers to just blast them because I do not like the Cowboys. Obviously, I've said that before. Um, and I think they can do it. I think the Chargers can come out. They can whip the ball around. I mean, if Purdy and the Niners threw the ball around like they did, I mean, they even hit some deep plays. I can't imagine that Justin Herbert can't throw the ball around on the Cowboys too. Um, so, hey,
But
gosh, I want to take the Chargers really bad, especially since they're the underdog and they're at home too. And the Cowboys just played so poorly. I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers at home just because I hate the Cowboys and I really want to see Justin Herbert throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
yeah, I remember one of the reasons I kept Tua in is because they were playing a much easier team than Herbert. Um, and Tua against Carolina should get more points than Herbert against the Cowboys. We'll see if I'm wrong. But it also on the app says that Herbert's questionable, but it does say he will not miss any time for his fractured middle finger because it is on his non-throwing hand. They also get Eckler back this week. So, uh, they're going to be all right, and I think their offense is going to be just fine. Um, and I'm still waiting. I'm not going to lie. I'm still waiting for the Chargers defense to show up, and you know they have they should have a league leading defense, I think, and they really haven't displayed that. I This is why I think that, I think the coach, we already had the coach for the Chargers on the hot seat. I think you did early on in the
Oh yeah.
season, and with all that talent, to be losing football games is not acceptable against the teams they were losing to. So I'm taking the Chargers at home, and this is I'm just absolutely shocked that the Cowboys are favored in this game. I mean, I could see if it was an injury. Hey, Herbert's out. Okay, totally get it. But you know, you got normal standard injuries probably on either team. Insignificant injuries to either team. Um, and so you just face them against each other. They both have 2 losses. Yeah, taking the Charger at home, that's ridiculous. Get somebody, call the NFL for me. Get them on the phone for me. Or Vegas. It's not the NFL. It's Vegas. Stupid people in Vegas. All right. Um. So, what is your game of the week?
Man, I think my game of the week is that Lions at the Bucks game. I think that could be a pretty good game. I think that may be my game of the week. There's a few of them that I think might be real close. That one's for sure on my radar. The Saints Texans is on my radar, and the Seahawks Bengals. Those few, but I think I'm really looking forward to that Lions Bucks just because they both have good records right now too. Where the other games, the teams aren't really looking as good. Seahawks Bengals are, they could, if the Bengals pick it up, they could have a good record. Of course, Seahawks have a good record, but um, yeah, I think I'm going to go Lions Bucks.
Very good. I already said the Cowboys Chargers would be mine. And before we go, I've been watching the game. We got baseball playoffs on the TV behind me. Arizona, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers. I'm looking at we got bottom of the sixth, and Diamondbacks are up 4-0. So
Uh,
who would have thought? Diamondbacks that were like, I think they said 16 games behind the Dodgers going into the playoffs, and they could go up 2-0 here, right?
3-zip.
No, 3-zip. They could go up 3-zip, and tonight holding on. This is just wild. Were they just sandbagging in the regular season? Just, hey, let's just get in as the wild card, and then we'll show our cards, right? Let's just sandbag, do the very minimum we have to do to get in the playoffs. Oh man, yeah, good for Arizona. Good for us here, and um,
It's only a best of 5 series, so they win tonight.
oh,
They go to the National League Championship
oh
series.
shit.
So they win tonight. They'll go on to play. I don't know, the winner of Atlanta and Philly. Um, they'll go play that for the NL Championship if they
That's
win
just
tonight.
that's just crazy. Good for our town here. Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
but yeah, good for us here in Arizona to have teams at least making playoffs once in a while. Not the Cardinals this year, but we have the Suns there now. It seems each year they look like they could still be a strong contender this year.
I'll be going
And
to see them on Monday night with my wife. We'll be
who
headed
are
to
they
the
playing?
Footprint Center to watch the new young Blazers and DeAndre Ayton coming back to town for the first time after being
Oh, is
traded
he?
away from the
He's with the
Suns because
Blazers
he's
now,
on the
huh?
Blazers. So I kind of wanted to go see that and see
Ah.
how he's received in person coming back since everyone trashed him when he left. And then
Oh,
I'll
he'll
get
be
to
well
see
received.
the young highlight Blazers, Scoot Henderson, the rookie point guard that took Dame's spot now that Dame's gone, and Shaden Sharp, who's a real high flying young player, young wing for the Blazers. So hopefully we'll get some good highlight plays for those two young guys in a preseason game Monday night.
All right. All right. Well, that's it for this Wednesday. Again, hey, if you watch this during the week, share the video, share it, with any of your sports minded friends. Tell them to follow us on Facebook at Sports and Drafts. I'll figure the Rumble thing out. Rumble is supposed to be the new big thing, and for live streaming. So I'll figure that out if anything. And once we're done here, I'll upload the video to Rumble and see if we can get some viewers there. But Kim, as always, thanks for joining the show. We did a few more. I think Jim was trying to get on or something, but yeah, thanks to Huss Brewing and to Deschutes Brewing out of Oregon, and for the Black Butte Porter anniversary beer. So this is different every year. So year 35 for them. So yeah, thanks Dave for all of your insight, and yeah, we'll see you all next week. Have a fantastic football week, everyone, and yeah, see you next week on Football Beer. That's why we are here. Good night.